Alright, so we got basil pesto sirloin steak with shirataki noodles, asparagus, and fig vinegar. Let's get cooking. So I'm going to trim some of the fat off the sirloin steak. Knives are nice and sharp. They just slice that fat right off. I want to get rid of some of that. Alright, nice quick trim. I'm going to put the steaks aside now, and what we're going to do is get the stove turned on. So we're going to turn it into medium-high heat. I have my 10-inch skillet, a little bit of cracked sea salt all over those steaks, give them a bit of seasoning. I have my asparagus. Now to know at the right spot to break the asparagus, just kind of bend it, and where it snaps is usually where it's starting to get a little bit harder and woody. So that's a good sign that you'll have a softer asparagus when it's cooked. So I'm going to chop up some garlic here. I got 3 cloves. I'm going to chop them up. The water's beating. Once the water beads, what we can do is put our sirloin steaks right into the pan. Put them right in. They stick nicely, and they're going to sear. I have that salt side down, and I'm going to peel an onion because I have to have some onion with steak. It always goes yummy, especially with the garlic. So we're going to peel the onion, and then we're going to slice it up. So I'm just going to use half an onion for this dish because we're just going to put a bit of onion in for our shirataki noodle stir fry. And I'm doing everything in one pan today, so it's quick and easy. So a quick chop of the onion, and then get it all chopped in nicely up. The steaks are looking good here. Now you see some of this brown on the bottom here? There's a bit of the fat coming out of the steak. When I see that is when I put my onions in and garlic. That way I can get less burning in the bottom of the pan, because that's going to be the fat coming off the steak that's starting to burn there. So now it's been about 5 minutes. I'm flipping over my steaks, looking nice and yummy. Now that I've flipped the steaks over, I'm going to put a tablespoon of basil pesto over each steak. Smear them around nice and evenly, and then what we're going to do is add the asparagus right on top. I'm on a medium-high heat. I'm going to put the lid on. The vent's open. I'm going to leave it on that medium-high heat. As soon as the whistle goes off, which is about a minute or so, you can see here the asparagus is not cooked yet. The asparagus is still a little bit on the crunchy side, but I like the steaks a nice medium, more on the medium rare side I like them. So I'm going to take the steaks out of the pan. We're going to move the asparagus around a little bit here, put the lid back on. This is going to be some of that natural moisture cooking that asparagus. The whistle goes off about a minute and a half later. Now what I'm going to do is make it even a little extra yummy. I got some fig vinegar. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of fig vinegar. You can see it deglazing the bottom of the pan, and about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to mix those around and add my shirataki noodles. Now the shirataki noodles is a tofu product that I love it. It's nice and light, it's not very heavy, and it's very healthy to eat. And that fig vinegar is nice and sweet. It's almost like a balsamic, but it's much sweeter. It gives a nice fruity flavor. Right? Now I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to turn the stove down to the lowest heat. I'm going to shut the vent, and we're going to let that cook for about another minute or so. After a minute, it's nice and good to go. Alright, so asparagus is nicely cooked. I'm going to mix it all around, and we're going to plate our dinner. Now that is yummy. Sirloin steak with basil pesto. We have some shirataki noodles and asparagus. Now to clean up. So my pan got a bit hot, and I had a little bit of meat burned onto the bottom of the pan there. So we're going to show you how easy it is to clean the cookware. So what I'm going to do is just rinse out the extra particles that are in the pot. Okay, we've got some of these little specks stuck in the bottom of the pan. I'm going to use some Cameo today. It just brings it right out. So I get most of the food out of the pan, pretty much everything that I can. Now I'm going to take some of the Cameo. I'm going to sprinkle around. The pan is a bit dry. I'm going to put the Cameo into the pan. You don't want the Cameo to get very wet and runny. You want it to be kind of pasty. And then you just wipe it around. And wherever you wipe it, it's going to take off whatever little bits are on the pan. Easy to clean, right? Not any elbow grease. Just got to make sure we rub every spot so everywhere is nice and clean. And get all around the sides. And then we give it a rinse, and it's going to look nice and shiny. That's the best thing about quality cookware. No matter what you do to it, you can always bring it back to its original state. Alright, so we're going to give it a bit of a rinse out of here. Get that Cameo out of here, because you don't want the Cameo in the pan for the next cleaning. So give it a good rinse. I'm going to rinse all around the pan. Cameo is good for the bottom of the pan and the inside of the pan. If there's any staining on the sides of the pan, Royal Shine does the best job. It's a little bit more or less abrasive. So Cameo or Barkeeper's Helper. I hope that was a good dinner. And keep cooking like we do at Dinner for Two.